In a not so long ago trip to Ithaca, New York, I found myself standing in front of this sign and remembering a very important person in my life. Dr. James R. O'Connor was my veterinarian for my pets from 1975 until his death in 2013. Born in Hamlin, New York, Dr. O'Connor's father was also a veterinarian. In 1969, Dr. O'Connor went on to receive his degree of Doctor of Veterinary Medicine from the College of Veterinary Medicine at Cornell University. I first met Dr. O'Connor when I took it upon myself at 12 years old to gather up what money I had, hire a cab, and make an appointment with him to see my cat Blackie. Boy, you should have seen the look on his face when he came out into the waiting room. He was very kind and very professional and took me very seriously. I left his office with a very healthy cat and knowing that I had a friend. Years later, I found myself with an incredible cat named Avery. He was a Norwegian forest cat and 20 pounds of muscle and fur. One day I came home from work and my neighbor told me that Avery had been laying in the mud all day. She suggested he may have had a fever, and I thought she might have been right. So I called Dr. O'Connor in a hurry, and he said bring him right out. Ever the diagnostician and not a person to jump to conclusions, Dr. O'Connor thought for a long time. He told me the sad truth of the situation. Avery had FIV, feline AIDS. O'Connor said at the time Cornell was advising all vets to euthanize any cats with FIV, but he had another idea, and it was up to me if he could do it. He asked me, with my permission, if he could take a maiden voyage with Avery and try an experiment. I trusted this man implicitly, and when he explained to me what he was going to do, I wholeheartedly agreed. His plan was to put Avery on Dr. Royal Lee's standard process Factor V vitamins. It's a super vitamin and the very first vitamin ever made in the United States. Along with that, a little prednisone, only for a few days and only one, just to give him some stamina and strength. O'Connor was extremely honest with me. Since it was a maiden voyage, he said I cannot promise anything. But I trusted him, and it worked. This cat thrived. Not only thrived, but went on to live another 11 years. Much to the surprise of Dr. O'Connor, not that he didn't have high hopes, but he just wasn't certain. The vets at Cornell changed their prognosis for all cats with FIV from that moment on. Avery and Dr. O'Connor made history. The Cornell University vets all agreed that if a cat had FIV, euthanasia was not the only answer. Avery was a gentle giant. He was personable and friendly with everyone, and handled everything with grace. And loyal to a fault. I can't tell you how many times he stood between me and danger. May 1999 was a very hot, humid, and windy day. An F4 tornado tore through upstate New York from Horseheads, New York to Delhi, New York. An F4 on the old Thomas Vegeta scale was gigantic. It was a super tornado and was followed by two F2s. When the power went out, the substation had been leveled, and then the hail came. At that moment, Avery decided to take action. He started digging at the cellar door. I didn't stop to wonder why, because I knew this cat so well, he was trying to tell me exactly what to do. I opened the door, and he hopped down onto the second step. Just before I followed him down into the second step, I looked out the window to see the giant tornado taking out my neighbor's house. As I sat down next to him on that second step, I saw the reason why he stopped where he did. We had a bare floor fieldstone foundation. The mice were running in every different direction because lightning was streaking across the floor of the basement. Avery died in 2005. Almost on his birthday. It's very rare to know your cat's birthday, but Avery's was May 4th, which made him a Taurus just like me. I'll never forget the big A, and thanks to Dr. O'Connor, I had the time of my life with this cat. He was amazing. Throughout the following years, I had many cats under the care of Dr. O'Connor, and he took excellent care of them. All the cats you see in the rest of this video were all rescues from a horrendous animal hoarder in upstate New York. This is Abby. Dr. O'Connor used to call her a nice big female. He explained that most female cats don't get quite that large. Abby was 6 years old when I got her, never been pregnant, and unfixed. Dr. O'Connor said I need to see her right away, because cancer may be an issue. Again, he saved her life by taking out a tiny tumor about half the size of your pinky nail from her uterus. Abby died at approximately age 25, as estimated by the vet who checked her teeth on the day of her death. This is my Mooney Booney. He was my clown, and what a sweetheart he was. Unfortunately, he had died younger than his sister. O'Connor had already passed at this point, and I had to rely on all the experience and all the education that I received from Dr. O'Connor to make sure that his passing was quiet and peaceful. And this is Cleopatra. She was the mother of Mooney and Abigail. Her daughter Abby definitely took after her in longevity, because when Cleo's time came, the attending vet estimated Cleo to be close to 30 years old. And this cat had attitude. It's no wonder she lasted so long. And this is Everett. He was also under O'Connor's care. He was the stray that came out of nowhere and got along with everyone. Well, maybe except for Cleo, the mother cat. She never really cared for anybody because she used to smack all the cats around. Everett was an alley cat, but he had the loyalty of Avery, the awesome kitty. He would stand between me and danger no matter what. One night, Everett got into a fight with a bobcat. The vet had told me that my neighbors had been in weeks before with cats with the same injuries, and it was definitely a bobcat that was killing them. I didn't realize any of this beforehand, and I did not hear the fight. But whenever it came stumbling into the house, barely able to walk, covered in blood and injuries and puncture wounds, he looked up at me, and I knew it was serious. Everett had put up a valiant fight, and although the vet could not save him, he still made it home. Dear Lord, I ask that you guide my hands and fill my heart with compassion and love as I tend to the animals that are brought before me. When I am tired, grant me the energy to persevere, and when I am unsure, grant me the wisdom to make the right choices. When I am saddened, grant me the ability to share my sorrow. When I am running behind schedule, grant me the patience to focus on what is in front of me. When I am overwhelmed, grant me the quiet space to collect my thoughts. Fill me with the thirst for knowledge so that I may remain current in my thinking. Help me to confront and console all of those who experience some form of tragedy or loss. And finally, Lord, allow me to extract the best from every day so that I may continue to greet each new dawn with enthusiasm and dedication for this profession to which I commit my life. Chelsea William, Doctor of Veterinary Medicine, a prayer for veterinarians. Thanks for everything, Doc. You were the greatest.